So quick question, how much water do you actually need to be drinking every day? Now think about it for a second. I bet most of you said 8 glasses of water a day. That's the classic 8 glasses a day rule that you hear about everywhere, that you, if you're my patient, you've probably heard me talk about as well. But when you actually think about it, like, what is 8 glasses of water a day? As you can see, these are 2 different glasses. This is a small glass. This is a bigger glass. All have different types of water in them. So am I supposed to be drinking 8 glasses of water of this size, 8 glasses of water of this size? What exactly is it that I need to be doing when it comes to how much water I'm supposed to be drinking? Hey, what's up everybody? For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Jamin Brambot, but most of my patients call me Dr. B. I'm a urologist, a robotic surgeon here in Orlando, Florida. I've helped thousands of patients and shared health education through TEDx talks and international media. And today, I'm going to answer one of the most common questions I get from patients. How much water do you actually need to drink every single day? And what I'm going to do is give you the real answers. No BS number that you'll probably forget after this video is done. I'll explain the simple tricks I use with my own patients and the warning signs that mean you're getting it all wrong. So let's get started. Let's talk about why water is such a big deal in the first place. Your body is 60% water. Your brain alone is about 75% water. Your blood, over 90% water. Even your bones have about 30% of water in them. That fluid, that water cushions your organs, your joints. It helps carry essential nutrients and hormones. It helps clear waste and helps regulate your body temperature. So when you fall behind on water, even just a little bit, your body has to work extra hard to keep things in balance. So what happens when you're off balance? Your blood gets more concentrated, your heart has to pump harder, your brain feels the strain. And this is why you get tired, you lose concentration, you're slower to react. This is also why your digestion probably slows down, you get constipated. And that's because water actually, whether you believe it or not, actually helps you move your bowels. So let me tell you what happens to me in clinic. I see about 40 patients a day in clinic, back-to-back patients. And of course, I'm a doctor, so I'm always running behind. I mean, what doctor doesn't? So around noon, towards the end of morning clinic, I start dragging. It's harder to finish the notes, harder to finish my sentences with the patient. My eyes visibly look tired. And that's because I am tired. So what's the first instinct? Well, hey, let's go get a cup of coffee. I'll either go make it myself, or my staff that sees me dragging will bring the coffee to me. Black, no sugar, straight caffeine. And most of the time, it doesn't really seem to help. I still, honestly, when I'm drinking that coffee, I feel like I'm still dragging. So it's kind of like, I started thinking like, why isn't this caffeine helping? And that's because what's actually wrong with me isn't me needing caffeine to stimulate me. It actually turns out it's more that I'm super duper dehydrated. I haven't had enough water today. And as a urologist, you would think I know better. I'm making videos right now educating you on this topic, but I'm also the most likely to not follow my advice in clinic. And honestly, in clinic, I have a good reason. When my patients come to see me, the last thing I want to do is to leave the room while I'm seeing a patient and have to find a bathroom. So I consciously drink less water out of necessity. I don't want to obstruct the flow of my clinic. But then, as the day goes on, I end up paying for it. So what have I started to do differently now? Or at least I try to do differently. I have a bottle of water next to me, next to my computer, next to the desk, and throughout clinic, I take sips. And if I start dragging, I'll go ahead and have a glass or 2 of water while I'm waiting for the next patient to come in. And I do all this before I reach for that cup of coffee. And most of the time, to be 100% honest with you, I don't even need that coffee once I've hydrated myself. So let's talk about numbers. How much water are you actually supposed to drink? The official recommendation from the National Academy of Medicine is about 3.7 liters a day for men and about 2.7 liters a day for women. In ounces, that's about 125 ounces for men and 92 ounces for women. Now, before you panic, that's from all sources, not just glasses of plain water. About 20% of the amount of water that's recommended can come from food, whether it's soup, watermelon, fruits and vegetables, even that apple a day that keeps doctors away, it too is mostly full of water. So when patients hear these large numbers, 3.7 liters, 2.5 liters, most of them freak out because they realize they're never going to achieve this goal. To them, this is truly, truly, truly impossible. But here's what I tell my patients. I tell them, don't stress out by this because that number is kind of like the top number that you want to achieve. A lot of it is going to come from what you eat. So don't try to reach that high number because again, you will get it in the rest of your diet. So think about it as trying to achieve that goal, but not having to really get that number. And honestly, unless I'm paying attention, I don't always hit that number either. And that's okay, because there's no magic number that works for everyone. Some people need more, some people need less. So how much water do you need? Honestly, it depends on your body size, your activity levels, the climate you live in, the medications you're on, whether you're sick, whether you're pregnant. It changes day to day based on your environment and so many different factors in your life. So think of these high numbers that I've quoted as kind of an ideal goal, but it's not a strict rule. So here's what I tell patients. Forget the ounces you're drinking. Pay attention to what's coming out. That's right, you heard it right. Pay attention to what's coming out in your pee. The color of your urine is one of the simplest, most accurate hydration trackers you have. You don't need an app, you don't need a smartwatch, you just need to watch what's coming out in the toilet when you're urinating. The goal is pale light yellow throughout the day, almost like clear lemonade. If your urine is medium or dark yellow, you may need to drink more water. But if it's totally clear all day long, you may actually be drinking more water than you need. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. A couple of things to keep in mind. Your first pee in the morning is almost always darker. That's normal. Think about it. You've been sleeping all night. You haven't had any water in 8 hours. So of course, the first time you void, it's gonna be darker. It's gonna be more concentrated. Also, during the day, think about the foods you're eating. Foods and vitamins like vitamin B12s can turn your urine bright neon yellow even when you're hydrated. So don't panic if you take a multivitamin and your pee looks like highlighter. The other thing to pay attention to is how much you're peeing. In urology, we tell patients, especially kidney stone patients, to aim for at least 2.5 liters of urine out a day. If you're barely peeing throughout the day, there's a sign you need to drink more water. When you need more water. Now, there are some days when you absolutely need to drink more. When it's hot or humid outside, when you're doing a long workout, when you have a fever, you're nauseous, or you have diarrhea. And honestly, if you've had a very salty diet, like a big Taco Bell burrito or like a Mexican pizza, those foods have so much salt in them. What's gonna happen in your body? That salt is gonna pull away all your water. And then guess what? You're gonna be thirsty. For hot weather and exercise, I tell patients to sip very slowly throughout the day. A small, easy suggestion is about 8 ounces every 50 to 20 minutes. Don't try to chug a gallon at once. I mean, we've all seen those guys at the gym carrying those big gallons of water. Kudos to that guy for staying hydrated. But the rest of us, the regular gym goers, probably don't need to be dragging a gallon of water with us to the gym all the time. So here's a specific section that I'm going to talk about something that happens often in women, recurrent urinary tract infections. I've had patients who used to get UTIs every 4 to 6 weeks. In specific cases, they come and see me and they think we're going to do procedures or put them on daily antibiotics or estrogen creams. But the first thing we usually recommend to them is staying hydrated. And that's actually the first question we ask patients is how much water do you drink a day? So if you're a female and you get recurrent urinary tract infections, hydration can be your best friend. There's actually a study published in the journal JAMA Internal Medicine where women with recurrent UTIs who increased their water by 1.5 liters a day cut their UTI rate by almost half. Yes, half, just by drinking water, which means all they really needed was water and not antibiotics. So if UTIs are a recurring problem for you, water is one of the cheapest, most effective ways to prevent infections. Now I have to talk to you about a problem on the other side. You absolutely can drink too much water, and it can be dangerous for you. There's a scenario called exercise-associated hyponatremia. Basically, when you drink a whole bunch of water without replacing your sodium or electrolytes, and the sodium in your blood gets diluted to dangerous levels. We see this a lot in marathon runners, triathletes, military personnel doing high-intensity training. Some of those collapses you see at the finish lines, they're not because of dehydration or exhaustion. A lot of the times, it could be that they drank way too much water. So if you're doing these long endurance exercises, especially in the heat, you need to combine water with electrolytes, sports drinks, salty snacks, something to replace the sodium that you're sweating out while you're exercising. So here's a hard limit you should know. Don't drink more than about 1 liter, that's about 32 ounces, in a single hour. Your kidneys physically can't clear water faster than that. Anything more, the excess starts to dilute into your blood. And for people with chronic health conditions like kidney disease, heart failure, and on certain medications, you may actually need to drink less, not more. Too much fluid can overload your system, can cause heart issues, can cause swelling in your legs, and also affect the functioning of your kidney. So if that's you, please talk to your doctor about what your actual target should be. I've personally been in scenarios where I've had a patient who I've taken care of their kidney stone, and when they come in to see me after the procedure, the first thing I talk to them about is hydration and diet. And I'm pitching to them how much water they should be drinking and how they should be seeing their urine turn clear. And then they make me pause. And they say, "Doc, but my cardiologist said I can only have 1 liter of water a day." And I have to just pause. Because the reality is I can't just be thinking about me and their kidney stones. If they have a heart issue or if they have a kidney issue and they have to restrict their fluids, then that trumps anything that I'm going to recommend for the patient. So this really isn't a one-size-fits-all solution. How much you should drink or not drink, it really truly is personalized and catered to you, what medical problems you have, where you live, how much you exercise, and so many other factors. So one of the most common questions I get is, "Dr. B, what's the best water to drink?" And the reason they ask is because when they go shopping and go to the store, they see a whole line of different types of water. Alkaline water, spring water, reverse osmosis, hydrogen water, brands like Saratoga, Poland Springs, Dasani, Costco, the list goes on and on and on. But the truth is, your kidney doesn't really care if your water came from a mountain spring or from your tap. Most of these fancy waters are just marketing. They're not medicine. None of them are really going to make you healthier than plain water from your filtered tap at home. But that being said, if a certain type of water makes you actually drink more because you like the taste, go for it. Whatever gets you hydrated is the right water for you. Just don't feel like you have to spend extra money on the fancy stuff to be healthy. It's actually the same thing with water bottles. The best water bottle is the one you'll actually use. Doesn't matter if it costs $40 and it's a smart water bottle that keeps track of how much you're drinking. It doesn't matter if it's a bottle that promises that your water will stay cold all day. In my eyes, it's just as good as the free water bottle that you got at some giveaway. If it gets you drinking water, it's doing its job. So I have some good news for coffee drinkers. Yeah, this is really good news. If you like drinking coffee regularly, your coffee actually counts towards your hydration. Studies have shown moderate coffee hydrates about as well as plain water. This is because coffee is mostly water. Now, I'm not recommending you just drink coffee all day because coffee can also be a diuretic, which is going to make you pee more. But 1 or 2 cups of coffee a day can potentially count towards your 8 to 10 glasses of water that we may recommend for you. Now, alcohol, on the other hand, does the opposite. It actually pulls fluid out. So if you're having drinks, you may need to drink extra water to make up for that water loss. That hangover that you're gonna have the next day, part of it may be because you're just severely dehydrated. And so if you don't love plain water, squeeze in some lemon, add fruit, use one of those flavor drops you see at the grocery store. Anything that makes you drink more water is a win. So how do I personally make this work at work? Because I try not to fall behind, but I also don't wanna mess up my routine. So on surgery days, I grab a glass of water between every case. So if I'm doing 7 surgeries, that's 7 hydration breaks. In clinic, I drink less while I'm in clinic because I'm jumping between patients, but I try to make up for it at lunch and on my drive home. I also do a couple protein shakes throughout the day. Protein shakes have fluid in them, so I count that towards my fluid intake. The point is, don't sit and count the ounces. I personally have just spilt water into the things I already do. And when I'm going to the bathroom, I look at the color of my urine, and if it's clear, then I'm happy. And that's the key. Don't make hydration this whole separate project. Stack it into what you're doing, and then I don't think you'll fall behind. I think you'll make it work like I make it work for me. All right, so before we wrap up, let's go over what I want you to remember from this video. 1, the standard recommendation is about 3.0 liters a day for men and 2.7 liters for women. But that's just a starting point, it's not the rule. 2, don't obsess about counting ounces. Just check your urine. Pale yellow means you're good, dark means drink more, clear all day means you might be overdoing it. 3, drink more when it's hot, you're working out, you're sick, when you're out partying with your friends for happy hour. 4, don't overdo it, especially during endurance exercise. Combine water with electrolytes and don't exceed about 1 liter or 32 ounces per hour. 5, fancy waters and expensive bottles don't matter. Consistency is what matters. So here's the bottom line. Hydration isn't an emergency thing. It's not something you panic fix when you start feeling bad. It's about daily habits. Build it into your routine and your body will thank you for it. Actually, your body won't thank you. As a urologist, I'll thank you as well. The more water you drink, less likely chance of you having a kidney stone and end up having to see me or someone like me in the emergency room. Thank you so much for sticking around until the end. Throughout this video, I kept telling you how to check your pee, but your pee can actually tell you way more about your health if you're hydrated. I made a full video breaking down every color of urine and what it's telling you about your health. Check it out. And listen, if you got something out of this, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. And if there's a topic you want me to cover, let me know down below. No judgment. That's what this channel's for. This is Dr. B. Remember to stay hydrated, and I'll see you in the next video.